So this is Starry Night. How many of you have coached this event before? I see a few familiar faces. All right, cool, wonderful. For those of you who are brand new, you're in for a lot of fun. I'm assuming your kids have decided they're interested in stars, so you got the job, right? There is a lot of material for this event. This is not an easy event unless you're a kid who loves space, all right? So you will learn along with your kids. We provide a whole lot of materials for you on the Macomb Science Olympiad website, and we'll tell you all about those today, all right? So because this is a little more difficult event, but the scope is pretty broad, we provide a lot of materials to help you, all right? So I'm Susan Ogden, and this is Stephen Ogden, my son, and we are co-supervisors, all right? And so Stephen's going to actually take over now.
Every year there are 3 sections, and every year 2 of them stay the same. So the 2 sections are solar system information, which that could be like basic information about the planets or other objects in the solar system, and constellations and star charts, which we'll cover that section later. And then the 3rd section changes every year. And so it rotates between 2 subjects, which is the deep space focus, which involves galaxies and nebulas, and then the solar system focus, which goes into more detail on the objects in the solar system. And so the rules.
You all have a copy of the rules in your handout.
So part 1 is knowledge of the solar system. And so it gives you the broad topics that you can be asking questions on. And numbers 1 through 5 are all technically planetary mechanics, but 3, 4, and 5 on the tournament score sheet, which you will be receiving this after the tournaments, we give you their score out of however many points each subject is worth, so that you know what to cover with it, because we're not giving out the tests.
This will be at the district tests. At the district tests, which the practice tests, the district tournaments, sorry. The practice tournaments before the major Macomb tournament. This is the kind of feedback that you're going to be getting after the test. All right.
Sorry. Do you have a copy of that in there?
No, you don't, but this is posted on the website.
The NISD Science Olympiad that we were just discussing, the Media Center, that website?
It's not MISD, it's MacombSO.org.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant.
Yes.
I apologize.
Yes, MacombSO.org.
So 3, 4, and 5 each have their own line on that score sheet. And then number 6, demonstrate knowledge about the planetary members of the solar system. You can find information on this on 9planets.org and solarsystem.nasa.gov/planets. And on the NASA pages, if you click the read more, so you just went to Saturn, and So if it gives you information about Saturn, and then if you put the read more blank,
Down at the bottom.
then it gives you even more information. So things that you will need to know for the characteristics of the planets. There is the length of day, length of the year, number of moons, atmosphere, temperature, relative distance from the sun, and relative size. So we say relative because we're not dealing with exact numbers. So if we ask you anything about the planets, like it will be to compare them to the other planets. It won't be like what is the mass of this planet in exact numbers. So
you like relative size of the Earth you're referring to, or are you referring to smallest planet, largest planet?
just like smallest or largest planet.
Anything like that, yeah.
Real quick, relative distance, when I was looking it up, I found it in AU units, miles, and kilometers. Which one? I'm not gonna go through it.
You don't need to know numbers for this, so just the order of the planet.
Just the order, okay.
Right.
So no numbers at all, we don't do about teaching the kids any
Right.
distance numbers, nothing.
So there may be a question,
Temperature,
no, like which planet has the greatest temperature swings between night and day, something like that. But, no absolute temperatures, we won't be asking the kids about that. Or, which planet is, closest in size to the Earth, or, something like that. Nothing with numbers, but, or there may be, something like which planet has the shortest year in Earth days, okay, something like that. So we won't be asking them how many days are in Uranus's year, we won't be doing that, okay?
So visual identification of planets and planetary features. So this is, we are getting pictures. There will be a projection on the screen during the test, and there will be a picture of some object, and so these photos, the kids will have to be able to recognize them and name them for the test. So everything is taken from either the 9 planets or the NASA site.
So you click into the main page, for example, this is the NASA site. We're on Saturn here. This picture could be on our visual identification slideshow, okay? You click into Mars. This would be the picture that we'd show for Mars, for the planet Mars, all right? Same with 9 planets. You go to 9 planets, click on any one of these planets here. That will be the picture we show for Earth, okay?
So what we're likely to choose are either like just pictures of planets or pictures of specific notable features on the planets or other objects. So if you go to the gallery tab,
This is on the NASA site also.
there's just pages and pages of pictures on here that we can choose from. But what we are likely to choose are the interesting looking ones that it's a notable feature on the surface of the planet.
Jupiter's red spot, or Valles Marineris on Mars, or a crater that doesn't look like every other crater, something unique. Okay, so use your best judgment. There are a lot of pictures on the NASA site. Use your best judgment as to, if it looks interesting to you, it's probably interesting to us.
is there samples of past tests that we could utilize to assist us in teaching these young kids, especially for people like me with no clue what I want to get myself into.
There are no sample tests.
And I'm sure I'm not the only one, thank you.
No, you're not the only one, you're not the
I'm
only one.
glad.
This is why I'm saying we're providing a lot of material for you.
Yeah, but this is so much for me to
that-
digest right now. I wish that there was a little like
Wasn't there a
smaller
sample
test.
test from like 2013 or something? Cause I know I have some really old sample tests.
It's on the
like,
Macomb
right-
website, it's on the SO website.
It is on there?
There's old
Yeah.
tests, and there's an old visual
Because I just don't,
identification too.
I guess I don't just in the whole thing, I'm sorry for wasting most time.
This is the guideline as to what the kids need to know. Every topic is listed, what they need to know. And we're giving you the resources that we're using and telling you these are the specific pages that you need to look at. There is, as you say, there is a sample test posted on MacombSO.org. There's also a template test. So if you want to make your own tests, you're welcome to use this. And this is essentially what the kids will see. There's a template, there's a matching section, there's, here's where they write their answers for the star charts, there's some tiebreakers. So this template test is also posted on MacombSO.org. So this is just another tool that you can use. And you'll want the kids to look at this so they're not seeing this format for the first time when they walk into the test.
So is it gonna be the written for the Starry type and not the Scantron, or is it
Correct.
both?
Right.
Okay,
No
it's the written
Scantron.
one for the-
No standards, all written.
Mm-hmm.
So even
It's
when
a
they're
pain to
identifying,
grade, but
even when
yes.
they're identifying a picture, they have to be able to write.
Right,
what they're
yep,
trying to-
right here, I'm on that section right up here. So to identify the picture, they just write the name right there. And we coach the kids too, we say, even if you don't, if there's a picture of a feature, even if you don't know the name of the feature, what planet do you think it's on? You get to have credit for that, so we'll give them, we wanna give them as many points as we can. We're not out to trick them or, anything, all right?
So then there's also a glossary of terms, which this will be used for a matching section, where they have to, we give them the term or the definition, and they have to be able to match it to its corresponding term or definition. And so we give you a glossary of terms on the Macomb website, and we've gone through it and edited it, and so it's a much shorter list than what we had originally. So
If you're on the Macomb SO Science Olympiad page, here are the things, and we can talk. We'll talk about each of these things individually, but you'll want to click on More Study Material. This is a new page this year, and there will be the glossaries. All right, and then other online resources, which you also have a copy of the online resources in your packet. All right, but if you want to click on it online here, you will be able to then click on the link and it'll take you right to the page.
For part 2, demonstrate knowledge about celestial sphere and the following concepts: zenith, horizon, celestial meridian, celestial poles, celestial equator, and ecliptic. So they're basically just definitions, and they are in the glossary of terms. But they do need to know those terms separate from just generally being able to recognize and match them. And then there's also, we have given you a list of constellations, and for some of them, they're major stars. So the kids have to be able to, on a star chart, recognize and name a star or constellation. So all of the stars and constellations are given to you, and we have resources online of star charts that we have already made and that we will use we may use in the competition. So this, on this star chart, the names and lines are already drawn in. So you can use this to to teach the kids constellations and stars. But then in the actual tournament, what they will see is a blank star chart. It just has a bunch of dots on it. They have to be able to find like this. They have to be able to recognize certain constellations and name them.
So we've also given you a set of charts that have the constellation lines, but not the names. So you can teach this in stages. You can highlight here the constellations that they need to know. They don't need to know every constellation on each of these charts. Your list is in the rules. And then once you think they've got those down, give them a little quiz and take them to the charts that have the lines, you know, the shapes of the constellations, but no names. See how they do there, and then they'll graduate to the charts without lines or names. This looks totally daunting to us. The kids get it. They will get it. It's amazing. So to teach these, you can come up with little tricks. You know, you can tell stories about the constellations. You know, Queen Cassiopeia is, you know, going out on her, she's gonna ride, you know, her horse Pegasus and, you know, tell stories about the constellations. Orion is hunting and he's got his dog Sirius with him and, you know, whatever. So, and then Arc to Arcturus, Speed to Spica, those kinds of things will help you, help them orient on the page. Some constellations are only in the sky in the winter, some are only in the summer. There are some that are called circumpolar constellations that are in the sky all year round. They should know what those are. And given those, they can then orient in the sky and figure out what season are we in, what constellations should I be seeing. I'm telling you, it sounds scary. It is scary to us, but the kids will get it. All right? Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to tell everybody, the Cranbrook Planetarium, they have the night sky show, and they also have a show, Michigan Sky, very, very good. They can take your kids.
Yep, planetarium shows are a great resource. It's a lot of fun. Okay?
Are these the only stars within the main stars that they're going to need to know in the constellations, or would you be asking on the other constellations also?
No, the list that he had given you, those are the only ones that
you
they
want to start with.
The only stars that Jeff listed here.
Right.
But you mentioned alpha and beta stars.
Yeah, so Orion, we list the alpha and the beta star. Taurus, we list the alpha and the beta star. Gemini, but all the others there are the alpha stars. And many of the constellations, we're not asking for any of the stars. We just recognize the constellation.
Then part 3. So this is more specific information. This is the topic that rotates. So this here is more specific information on the solar system. So they have to know about meteoroids, meteors, meteorites, comets, and asteroids. And it's just things like, where do they come from? What's the difference between a meteor and a meteoroid? And stuff like that. And then dwarf planets. There are 5 dwarf planets that they have been classified as dwarf planets. And so they need to know the names of those and their locations. Then they also have to know about moons of planets. So we will be having some pictures of moons in the slideshow at the beginning.
And again, you can find those on the NASA website. These tabs across here. We've looked at the main planet page. We've looked at the gallery. You can also click on the moon tab. All right, and it will show you, you know, the Galilean moons are the first 4 moons here. They're on our list in the rules. Okay, so you can click into each one of those. It'll give you a picture and it'll tell you a few things about each moon.
So the moons that we have chosen, we picked them because they have something that distinguishes them. So it's not like you have to just memorize a list of moons that they all like look the same, and there really isn't much difference between them. They have significant features that will make them easier to recognize. Then we have a game. It's kind of like a flashcard game that you may use to help them study. This is not something we produce. This is
You can find this on Amazon as well as Edmund Scientifics, EDMUND Scientifics. It's called MMRY, Moons and Planets. It's a memory game. It's a matching game. These are nice little poster-sized, pictures of moons and planets. And amazingly, we didn't plan this, but amazingly, all of the moons that are on our list are in this set. All right, and plus they have one extra moon, and all the planets and the sun. All right, so these, I love Venus. It looks like the Death Star, lunar Saturn. This is just another tool. It's going to cost about $20, so it's it may not be worth it to you, but already produced pictures, it'd be a good good way to teach them stuff. MMRY, it's a memory game, Moons and Planets. Google that and you'll find a couple different places. With shipping, it's about $20.
We used that last year.
Did you?
It's really.
And
picked up.
this year, it's even more relevant because of the moons. This year we've got moons. Last year it was nebulas and galaxies. So this year it's even more relevant. So.
Then they also have to know nebular theory of formation. And so there are a couple of theories about how the solar system forms, but the most accepted one is the nebular theory, and so that's what we're going to be using. And then the structure of the outer solar system. Basically, what are the areas that are like outside of Pluto's orbit, basically, and like where are they, and what are they? The test structure, we've already shown you the template that we have online. So this you can find on your own and go through the format that they'll be having. You can design your own tests if you want and have them take that.
We also have on the website a very short sample. It's not really the format of the test that the kids are going to see, but a couple questions on each of the topics in the rules, just so you get a feel for the kinds of questions you might see and the range of difficulty levels. The easier questions, the more difficult questions. So, revolution and rotation, the scientific term for a planet's trip around the sun is, very simply, it's a multiple choice. A more difficult question might be, name a planet that rotates in a retrograde motion. So they have to come up with it. One, they have to know what retrograde is, and two, they have to know which planets rotate that way. And give us an example. All right, so this helps you know kind of the range of the depth of the scope, all right, for each one of the topics. And there is a key on the website also.
For the tiebreakers, will be on. They will be in the same topics as the rest of the test, but they will be more in depth. So it's not necessarily information that you would normally cover with the kids just in your everyday session. It could be like, why does this specific thing happen? Or it could be on a current event that like, there are current events happening in space, like space exploration and other things that like during this year that we may ask questions about in the tiebreakers. So the tiebreakers, they will not be counted as part of the score for the test. The kids should only try them if they finished everything else that they can during the test. And so we will only look at them if there is a tie.
Most of the questions will be in scope, just a little deeper, like the current event thing is not in scope, it's not in the rules, but if your kids love space, they'll be interested. There are a couple of really cool things happening this year. There were a couple of things that happened in the last year. And, you know, just research cool space things 2015 and you'll find a couple of interesting things.
How is this test presented to the kids? Like, do they have to move from station to station, or they sit down, and how do they see moves?
So it's a sit-down test. They just sit down in one place and take the test that we showed you. And for the recognizing the images, that we are projecting the images on a screen at the front of the room.
So just like we are right now.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
The first 5-7 minutes of the test will be projecting the images. They'll get 20 seconds each for each image, and then there are 10 of them, and then we'll go through and give them quick, 5 seconds each so they can grab something they might have missed the first time around. So everybody does that together, and then they're free to do whatever they want with that test. They can pull it apart, and each partner, like if one partner is great at star charts, they can start that, and the other partner can start working on the other parts of the test. However you and they decide, this is a coaching style thing, however you want to, it's a long test. One kid, if they really know their stuff, they might be able to finish it, but this is really a two-person test. All right.
So you have it in a way they can divide it up.
It'll be stapled together, but they can pull it apart. We'll staple it back together at the end, make sure we've got all the pages. All right. We put the star charts and the answer sheet at the end together so they can pull that off, and one kid can get started on that. Okay. So we try to make it easy for them to divide and conquer.
Is there a time limit?
There is a time limit. Each event at Science Olympiad, the non, like not the bottle rockets and all that, but any kind of station test or test where they walk in and take a test, they're 30 minutes. Okay, so we have just a minute or two of instruction, then we start the slideshow, and then they get the rest of the time to do the test. It's not a long time.
Are they allowed to speak to each other?
They are allowed to speak to each other. You want to talk quietly because you don't want to give the answers away, but yes, they can talk to each other, absolutely.
Are the star charts projected or on paper?
Star charts will be on paper, all right? And they will all they can bring in are pencils, okay? No other resources. Absolutely, erasers, they can bring. Big erasers, no
So
problem.
in the beginning, when they're doing the slideshow, the kids will be sitting next to each other at a table, and they can talk about what the answers are?
Yes.
Okay, and then you have one writer, because you only have one test between the two of them?
Yes.
Right.
When they're doing the star charts, will they put like a number 1 during this constellation, or are they already numbered?
I should have had a sample of that too. The star charts will have a constellation circle or a star with an arrow pointing to it, and then on our answer sheet, they'll just have an answer sheet, number 57, 58, 59, and that's where they'll record their answers. But on the star charts, they will see, a box around a group of stars, or an arrow pointing to a star, and they just have to identify them. Just write down on the answer sheet.
And it'll say number 1.
Yep, it'll say, right next to the box on the star charts, it'll say number 57, and then you write that on your answer sheet. Okay?
Is the child able to walk up to the screen? Because I think it was like a little vision, so our combinations made, can he or she
Oh, absolutely.
walk up to the screen and see them?
Yes, if someone can't see the screen, we will,
Then class.
yes, we will make every accommodation for them. It'll be a big screen, especially at the Macomb tournament. We get a really nice big lecture hall and the screen is huge, so. And the lights are out for that, so, you know, a little bit of light so they can write.
So if you have one answer sheet, but two kids are working on two separate parts of the test.
No, so there is one test, but they will write their answers on the test for each one of the questions as they go by it. You know, there will be short answer, and so you'll have the question and then space underneath it for the kid to write. All right?
So
you'll have,
the answer sheet is part
the
of
test.
Yeah, there is no separate answer sheet.
So if
They
you
write
take it
straight.
apart, their kid's writing on his sheet, and this
Yes.
one's writing on their sheet.
Yes.
There's no, I've
No,
got
there's-
557 over
Right.
here while I waited for you to
Correct.
fill it in.
correct.
So if him and I are working together and the test is apart, and my answer key, he looks over, is he able to change it? He's like, oh, she made a mistake, I'm gonna fix it.
Yes,
He's
so
able to-
once.
We're like a pair, we're like a group.
Yes, so there will be, you'll see as the kids go on, there'll be, one of your kids will be an expert in one area, and one of the kids will be an expert in the other area, and then, they will both be great in another area. So any questions, if one's doing star charts, the other doing the rest of the test, the one doing the rest of the test, if they come up, oh, this is your specialty, help me out here, that's, they can work together, absolutely. And if they finish, each of their portion, they can trade and say, check it out. Did I do okay? All right. So.
Are you guys gonna do the workshop again this year? Come
No,
on.
we're not doing the workshop again. We're not doing the workshop again. However, posted on the Macomb Science Olympiad Starry Night page, there's some excerpts. We also have, it's a little video, it's a short video. We also have selected topics. If you click on that, there will be some slides from our presentation of last year, just some place to get you started. All right, a lot of good information here. This wasn't our whole presentation, but this is a good sampling. All right, and we updated it with this year's asteroids, comets, meteor. Okay, so we updated it. Here's some moons. All right, so that also is on the website.
So who grades and corrects this? You two?
We do. But we have a couple of other people who we train also in the practice tournaments and the district tournaments. We train the team so that by the time the Macomb tournament comes around, they know what they're doing. And any of the content questions, if it's not just multiple choice, A, B, C, the content questions were we group those. So, okay. Yes.
Do they have to spell?
Nope, spelling does not count as long as we can tell what they're trying to say. Beetlejuice is not easy.
The star chart's always from the perspective of Detroit.
Yes, star charts are always Detroit. They are the 15th of every month, 11 p.m. And we've created the set of star charts for you, but yes, they are from Detroit. So if they go out in the night sky on February 15th, this is what they will see. All right. Other questions? Of course, you can use the Science Olympiad FAQ to submit a question. Yes, ma'am?
What's the date for the practice tournament?
Yep, that was the last thing on our list.
So the South Macomb District Tournament is on March 7th. The Lance Cruise District Tournament is on March 14th. The Utica Practice Event is on Monday, March 23rd. And the Chippewa Valley District Tournament is on March 28th.
So if at all possible, have your kids come to these tournaments. It's a really good practice.
Could you repeat those, please?
Yep.
Yes.
You pick the one that your district belongs to. If you don't belong to any of these districts, you go to the Macomb,
The South Macomb.
the South Macomb one.